Hello again. I am here to finish telling you the story of my trip through a bunch of states and back to Washington and get it done and over, and then we can move on and we'll see what next interesting story pops up. So, uh, the last I told you about on my trip was in Pacines, California. So uh, So the next camp that I went to was in at Russian River Campground, and that was in Cloverdale, California. And a unique experience happened there. And before I continue to tell you about that, um, I'll let you guess where I am. This is only one of two. Yeah, and I'm not even showing you the whole room. So this is all you get to see. So anyway, so I arrived at Russian River Campground, and there was nobody in the welcome box. I did have, however, a welcome packet with my name on it, and had a difficult time finding a spot because there were hardly any pull throughs. There was like one, two, maybe three, I don't know, in the whole campground. Not too many, and they were taken. And of course, one became available after I'd already picked a site and then was filled up quickly again. Um, so what I did was I found a site. I went around. I think I spent longer looking for a site in that place than any other place, any other campground. Um, I went. There was these two campsites close together, side by side. And what I did was I went in forward into one campsite, and since the other one was so close, I just turned the corner around into the other site, and then it was like I backed in, but I never did. Yay! So I lucked out, and that was by the bathroom. Yeah, so that was great. Um, that part of it, anyway. Um, the whole time I was there, um, the I did see a staff member when I was in the lodge briefly. I didn't spend a lot of time in there. I just feel like my privacy is, um, I don't have any privacy, because there's people coming and going all the time, and when I'm hanging out on the internet, I just I just want to do my own thing, and I mean, unless I make a friend, I suppose that's different. But anyway, just uh, uh, I just went without, or I guess I probably used data on my phone. Anyway, um, so I was right by the bathroom, and okay. Oh, well, when I was at the lodge, I did see an employee go in and out of, I don't know, some room, the office or the kitchen or something, once or twice, and that was about it. And then a lady that was parked next to me in a pop-up, she told me one time that she pointed to a vehicle and said, "That's the park ranger." I wouldn't have known the difference. So the whole time I was there, there was nobody in the welcome box, and I had zero encounters with any employees, good, bad, or other. Nothing, absolutely nothing. No employees, nobody, nothing. And so when I parked into my spot, um, as far as I recall, it was clean. But I believe it was the second day, possibly, that I noticed there were two little piles of poop. I'm going to try and make the picture that I took, the picture, the thumbnail for this video. I would assume that it'll work. Um, but anyway, there was two little piles of poop on my right side, on the right side of my car, the whole time that I was there, and I was only there a few days because I was in a big hurry to get back north, to get back to Washington to see my doctor. I did have an appointment, and I needed to be looked at and see what's going on. So I was in a hurry to, I wasn't hanging out for a joyride. I was trying to get home, and so then the new challenge of having to avoid the poop piles every time I had to go past my car or into my car on the right side became, my next thorn in my side. And um, twice I wrote down, like, some of the parks do this and some of them don't. And this was a new thing, and so since one or two parks did this, I followed suit. And what they do is they take their paperwork and they turn it back into the um, to the office on the way out, the welcoming booth or office, whatever you want to call it. And that's what I did, but I wrote a note on there. Probably nobody ever read it, probably didn't pay any attention to it, and they probably threw away all the papers. Didn't matter, didn't care, didn't look. But I did write it on there stating that there was two little poop piles of something that was left there in my camp. And they were, I mean, not, I don't want to get too detailed and because it's very disgusting. But they were different poop piles. One was very loose and the other one was very solid and hard. And one time something of mine, and this is what I was afraid of course, who wouldn't be? Um, Something of mine did fall on them, but I didn't even see any, I didn't see anything that got on it, but I did put it away in a plastic bag and I washed it when I got the chance. So, um, it's just little stuff like that, and nothing ever was done about it the whole time I was there. And then I did send a second little note, and nothing ever happened, nothing changed. I just had to deal with it the whole time I was there. I wasn't touching it with a 10-foot pole. Um, and the lady in a pop-up who was closer to the bathroom than I was very friendly, very nice, and we talked a little bit, superficial stuff. And it was very uneventful, other than what I just told you. Um, yeah, no employees around. Um, so I would say it was pretty boring otherwise, other than what I told you. So let's see, from Cloverdale. Okay, yeah, I remember now. From Cloverdale. This is why I got to finish this story because at some point I'm going to start forgetting details. So I went to Crescent City, California, from Cloverdale, California. And because Crescent City looked to be a halfway point between Cloverdale and are we talking about Chehalis? I guess Chehalis. I guess that was, yeah. Anywho, Chehalis, Washington. So I arrived in Crescent City, and I was there before Um, and that's all I'm going to tell you. But about that, about the reason I was there. But anyway, yeah, I had been in a motel there before. It was a really nice motel. It was like 70s style. I don't know if I saw it still there, but I don't know if it's changed at all. I didn't go there. I was trying to save some money, so where I did go was I boondocked at the casino. And what was really great about that is obviously that was it was free. Um, and they had a special parking lot for uh, RVers and or whatever. I don't know if they let people, just any old people, in a vehicle stay there. It could be. I don't know. Van dwellers. I don't know. Anyway, it would be interesting to find out. Um, what I really liked about that was that they said once an hour they send security out there to patrol. Once every hour, all night long. I thought, I'm never going to get that kind of security in a campground. So I thought that was the best security I could find anywhere. So I thought I'll deal with a little bit with no heat for a night. And, because we're not talking about Yuma, Arizona anymore here. Northern California, it's a little nippy. I mean, it was sunny during the day, but, it's not that warm. So it was a little colder than I normally have it because I usually have that heater going. I just turn it on for a little while and then I turn it off. But I'm kind of spoiled along those lines. So yeah, I stayed the night and it worked out fine. I had a bread bowl clam chowder. I try to make some kind of impression on my stay because I in order to stay there with permission and all of that, where they know you're there, um, I had to register and fill out. I had to get like an ID tag thing, give them my information and so forth, because they're hoping that I'm gonna gamble. I wanted to say when this guy was showing me how to use the machine or something, I don't remember what it was. I wanted to say so bad, I have zero interest in gambling. I did want to say that, but I didn't because I didn't want to jeopardize my arrangement. Anyway, um, yeah, so I moved on from. Oh, and I discovered something else at Crescent City in the gas station. The decaf coffee was very delicious. Just, I would say, comparable to my newly found Verona, Starbucks Verona coffee. It was very, very good. I asked them what kind it is, or if they sell it, and I guess they didn't have a clue. So, um, I did have a little problem with the gas, getting gas there. Um, it wasn't working properly, and it was freaking me out because I felt like I couldn't cancel my card until I went in there, and I felt like I had to be rude and interrupt what they were doing. I says, "You need to cancel my card right now." I was one of those obnoxious customers, but I felt like somebody was going to steal my card info. I mean, anyway, they said it was no big deal and then it was already canceled when the transaction doesn't go through. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so that was Crescent City. Okay, moving on to South Jetty RV. Is it South Jetty, Oregon, or ooh, I'd have to go back and look. But that's what it's called, is South Jetty, Oregon. Anywho, no, Florence, Oregon. Yes, Florence, Oregon, and the campground is called South Jetty in Florence, Oregon. And let's see, pretty uneventful. which is great. I like it like that, nice and uneventful, no issues. Yay! Um, so my situation there was, and once again, it's the same problem is no pull throughs. There may have been one or two, but I didn't like the location for whatever reason. It was a pretty big campground. Um, but there were areas where there was nobody else around, and I just don't feel comfortable camping where there's nobody else around. I mean, I'd like to. I'd really love to camp in my own little spot if I didn't worry about it, but I just didn't feel safe doing that because there was this guy walking around, and I don't know what's going on, so I'm just I just don't feel comfortable doing this. Now, I made several attempts. I really tried. I really, really tried to back in, and it was just a nightmare. I could not back into a spot. So, and then I went to another area, which was near the Class A's, and there was a bunch of them around there, and lots of people, lots of campers, lots of people around to hear me scream bloody murder were it ever to happen. And so I parked in one of those. But once again, I tried really, really hard. I tried to get into this really pretty. I hate. Okay, now I can't get it back down. Oh, there it is. Whatever. um, it was a really nice camping spot, and I couldn't back in to save my life. I just couldn't do it. So I finally had picked one, and I kind of figured out that it would be the easiest one I could possibly find. And it was a good spot, and it was between people. And I don't really like doing that, but sorry, I feel safe, and it also looked like the easiest one I could find. So I tried my best, still couldn't back in. And then finally, this couple comes along and they help me. And so basically, well, they recommend that I detach and unhitch, and they says, well, we'll just push you back into your spot. We did Simple Simon, so easy, and there I was. I thanked them and all of that. Really nice that people do that. Um, really like to get to a point to where I don't have to depend on people doing that for me anymore. But the towing thing is a real pain in the neck. Once again, like I talked about in another video, um, I'm just gonna have to discover all the campgrounds that have pull-throughs. What else can I do? Um, so anyway, so I don't know. Pretty early in the process. I was only there for a few days, like my last camp, because I'm in a hurry, just passing through town trying to get back home. And this guy with a dog comes into my camping space, and the dog comes with me now up to me, and it was harmless and all of that, but um, it's just not appropriate. It's just not okay, and I'm I'm getting tired of it, and I think I'm just gonna have to be prepared to be quick with my responses, and just be ready to say, um, you know, you should ask me first before you allow your dog to walk into my camp spot. And it just it ticks me off. Anyway, it's not infuriating. It's not as bad as a lot of other situations that have happened, but I still don't like it. But anyway, but I still talked to the guy. I mean, we had a long, drawn out conversation, and there was a part of me that was thinking, he shouldn't have come into my spot, but I still talked to him, and I don't know why I did. I guess because I was alone, so I talked to him. But I was still kind of pissed at him at the same time. I don't know. Why do we humans do that? I don't know. Anyway, um, so other than that, it was very uneventful. I barely remember even what I ate. It was so boring and nothing going on. I think I was just so full of leftover anxiety from the former experiences that um, I just had enough leftover to 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 keep me going. So I didn't need any events going on. It's probably why I have stomach problems. Anyway, so I left um, South Florence and went through Coos Bay and then to Chehalis, Washington. And yeah, I was all happy crossing into Washington State, um, only to find out that I couldn't afford to pay for my new license plate. I had held off paying for it, or what? Excuse me. What I mean is, I held off buying an additional temporary registration in California and Oregon because I was going to wait till I get my license plate, and only to find that I couldn't afford it. It was way too much money, more than I had have. So I was out of luck. So Chehalis, same deal. I was coming in, couldn't find a pull through spot anywhere. And so I found one that looked as easy as I could find, and I just did my best. Kept giving it college tries, um, trying to back in there. And my short little trailer is so short, it's impossible to manage. I mean, at least for me, it isn't for other people who have a lot of experience in driving trailers, like people who drove a semi. They don't seem to have a problem uh, backing up my trailer, but I can't. I haven't been able to do it. So I go in there, and this guy's outside, and so he came up and he noticed my struggle, and he asked me if he could back it in for me, and I definitely let him back it in for me, and so he was really nice. Um, but I wasn't too crazy about his little label when he said he was clairvoyant. So without really wanting to get too much into that, um, I was I suddenly became very uncomfortable, and uh, I didn't really want to be near somebody like that. But anyway, there I was. So I got through it, and well, you kind of know the rest of the story. When I went to I went to town and went to Chehalis and didn't have the money for the license plate when I went to the DMV. So from there, um, I went home. Or, mm, well, I don't have a stationary home. I went to one mooch docker house and then to another mooch docker house, and and just kind of managing things until I get a more permanent solution. So uh, that's the end of the trip, and I don't imagine I'll ever do this again. It's not to say that I will never go on a trip again. Um, I hope that I will go on another trip again where I leave my home state of Washington, but probably only if I have a partner to go with, a marriage partner or a friend, that kind of thing. But probably not by myself. So, Let's see what the next adventure is. And don't really want to talk about any more negative news stories and that are sad and bad and terrible. Um, Sorry to bring it up, but anyway, right now I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do because my finances are messed up, and I don't have the ability to help myself. Uh, and I thought somebody was going to help me, and they're not helping me, and so I'm out of luck. So I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to get back into camp with my trailer with no license. It's not going to happen. So the bottom line is, if I can't ultimately find a way to get it licensed, I'm going to have to sell it because I cannot drive it anywhere. I can't take it to camp. I'm paying fees, monthly fees for my camping membership, and I can't go in there without a trailer. I can go in there with a tent, but they only allow the tent for 1 week at a time, and then I have to leave camp again. And I'm not sure, because I have an upgrade, if if I have to be a week out with the tent, because with my upgrade that I'm paying a lot of money for, um, I don't have to be out for a week. But with a tent, they have different rules for when you're in a tent.